a child, the first thing you see on me, my body, is my boobs. So I had very big boobs and very lanky self. So once I come into a room, you'll see my boobs. And I had different names because of this. Hi, my name is Alexis and welcome to another episode of Chats and Banter. I'll be talking about bullying today. It's a very sensitive topic. And I have with me Pelumi Oyesanya. Thank you so much.
You do call my
I don't really, because right now you're a guest. I really don't need to accord you as such.
Wow.
How are you doing? So I was actually I was very surprised when I heard that you wanted to talk about this, because it's not something that people just come out and want to talk about. You have to really press the right buttons and all. So at what age did you suffer bullying?
I suffered bullying for, let's say in total, maybe like 7 years. I was bullied throughout my secondary school, my high school. Yeah. And a little bit in A levels, but secondary school was the
height of it.
Yeah.
So let's go into details. What were they bullying you about? Were they name calling you, body shaming you? What was your experience like? Let's go into that.
So it was mostly about my weight. I wasn't bullied like physically. I wasn't like beaten. Seniors were not telling me to buy anything for them. Everybody was just on about my body. Wow. So it started on my first day of secondary school. I went to ISL. Okay. And they do this thing on first day where you do orientation, they put you in your different classes and all of that. And then on orientation day, and the thing about my secondary school is most of the kids there went to similar primary schools. So everybody already kind of had like their own clique and everything. I mean, I was still trying to check maybe one of my old, I didn't see anybody. Here. So everybody was already paired up and I was on my own. And then I saw a familiar face from primary school and I was like a little bit excited. Like I saw one boy that we were in same class in primary school, but then he left and everything. He was approaching me and I was like, thank God. But he was coming with a boy and I noticed that they were smiling very mischievously. And then he came up to me and I was like, Pelumi, I was telling this boy that your name is not Fatima. Your name is Pelumi. He does not want to believe me. I was very confused because in my head I was just like, Fatima. Pelumi. But the way they were like laughing, the way
sarcastic about it.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't understand. And then they started like gesturing at me and all of that. And I was like, oh, okay. I had never been made fun of about my body. Like that. I mean, in primary school, you're young. You're not self-aware. Everybody's friend. Yeah. Maybe I took your pencil, you took my... Do you understand what I'm saying?
They had different things you were fighting about.
So my weight was never an issue. And I was like, that first day came and I was like, oh... So this is a thing. And then I noticed that as the day went on, they were looking at me funny. If I stand up to go somewhere, people will start laughing and pointing. And I was like, what's going on? I remember going home on the first day of secondary school in tears. They came to pick me.
You came for orientation.
They came to pick me from school. My mom saw me and she was just like, She came to pick me and like I was just there wailing. And she was like, what's going on? I couldn't even explain it because I didn't understand
what it was, but you knew that it made you feel a certain kind of way.
I just felt like there was something about me that was different than everybody else, and it was a problem. And then we entered school fully, and then it was event after event. There was the one where, we also went to, so they do this thing as well, where they take us to the health center in Unilag, because my secondary school ISL is inside Unilag. Okay. And they weigh you, they check your vitals or whatever. And the nurse there, she was not one of, the way all this so she would weigh each student and then she would say out their weight. It got to my turn. Immediately I stood up. They were already shouting, clapping, laughing and everything, like, ooh. And I was like, okay. I got there. The woman, I can never forget, I was 81 kg. And then she said it out, and then the boys started making a song out of it. Then I started 81 kg, 81 kg, 81, and they were shouting like that.
What were they wearing? What were they wearing at that time? Like other people, like
so maybe like 50 something, 40. Because you're young, you're lanky. All the other girls were like slim with small waist and all of that. And I was just like, okay, that once happened. I went home crying, and then it was something after something. I can be in class, they'll be passing paper around. There was something like that too. We had, I don't know if it's all secondary schools, but sometimes they mix classes to have like maybe you're doing CRS or something.
Exams.
No exams, just
Okay.
normal classes.
Okay,
They used
okay.
to do that a lot in ISL. So we were in class this particular day, and I noticed again that everybody was staring at me and laughing. And I'm like, you know what, this is my new normal.
Yeah.
But then again, I was very uncomfortable that day. And then after the class, one boy now came to meet me. I can't even call that boy my friend, or because he used to make fun of me. But I guess maybe he just felt bad
for you
me.
that day.
He now came to meet me that the reason why they were making fun of me, now showed me a piece of paper. They drew what looks like a sumo wrestler. They were now passing it around with my name on it. So different people were like, and I was just like, okay. So it got to a point where I didn't used to go for class. I would go to school, but I'll hide inside the toilet.
Wow.
So I'll wait till the class is over, and then after the class, I'll collect notes. I'll write it. I stopped eating.
Was there anything in
school.
particular that triggered you to not want to be associated with your friends? Do you remember any incident?
I didn't really have friends early on. It was hard to make friends because I didn't know who was. But thankfully, I met two of my best friends right now. I met one in GSS1 and I met another one in SS1, funny enough. The one in GSS1, they also bullied him.
Oh, so you had something in common.
We had something in common. Aside other like normal things that you find in like another young person, we had that in common. So it wasn't as if they weren't there for me. They were there for me. They were the ones that knew where I was when class was going on. They would give me their notes. I couldn't eat
because you wanted to not get.
If I go to the school kiosk to get food, Alexis, they would point at me and start laughing. Even the people selling food would be like in Yoruba, and they won't know that you understand what they are saying. They'll be like, you are still eating. After eating all your siblings' food at home, you are coming here to buy food. So even as they are pouring the food for you, they are making you feel guilty. So you know what? At some point, I stopped buying food. I would now beg, like my seat partner, that please, when you are going, just help me buy this food, so I can eat it in class, jejely. People now found out that I begged the girl to buy food for me. They now started like insulting me that when you are fat, you already start feeling like a big madam. You can't even. I had to tell the girl, you know what? Don't worry again. So any money that they give me at home to eat, I was a baller in secondary school because I never ate. Imagine your parents giving you maybe like 200 naira, 500 every day of the week. I never spent it. I'll just put it inside my bag. So at the end of every week, I was cashing out. Not because
you wanted to be a baller, or it was just circumstances that made you.
And then when my friends noticed that I wasn't eating, they were like, no, you can't do this yourself. So we made up this system where I would beg them. And everybody goes out for lunch. They would buy my food for me, maybe like a meat pie or something. They will now put their school bag on top of the desk. I'll sit at the last chair at the back because we had benches and tables in ISL. So I would sit down at the back. They will now put their school bag there. So I would hide behind it and eat it. Because if people see me eating in the open, groups of boys would literally come up to me and make fun of me. Like they would make sure they have everybody's attention. It was like I was entertainment. Do you get? So I couldn't walk alone. I couldn't go to use the toilet alone because I was anxious that somebody would come up to me to say something. You. So I didn't have the normal high school experience. Like
relationship
and it was boys that made fun of me the most than girls. The girls tried. I think some of the girls noticed that I was picked on a lot.
Yeah. So
they would even make an effort to compliment me just to make me feel. They'd be like, oh, I like your hair. I had very long hair. So they'd be like, oh, your hair is very long. Oh, your school bag is very nice. Do you get? Just to make
you feel good.
But the boys constantly. So that was normal.
And this went all like from GSS1 to SS1.
It got worse. Like with every class, it almost got worse. Because it's not only the people in your class that are making fun of you. Your seniors, outside. When your mates, your fellow junior girls are being toasted by senior boys, you are being insulted by senior boys.
So you didn't exactly talk to people about how you were feeling, whether your guardians or even your teachers, but you mean your teachers didn't see these things happening at that point in time.
So teachers also bullied me. They would use me as example in class.
Teachers also bullied you?
Yes. I can never forget physics or I think it's technical. There was like a technical course or whatever that we had. The guy would there was a particular situation where he came to class and he used me as an example and another skinny person. And I remember unprovoked, I'm here to learn like everybody else. Do you get? I'm there writing my notes.
I'm laughing.
And I'm just hearing, if you throw this boy downstairs and he's shaking it up, but if you take that madam at the back,
he called you madam.
Everybody turned and started laughing. So even as the students were giving me, I'll go to staff room. Teachers will call me that, come, why are you fat like this? Now, as you are walking like this, like it wasn't heavy. There was no safe space. Do you understand?
So how did you now at every point in time wake up every morning to go to school?
I just had to. Because so it wasn't as if at home they didn't know. You know, my parents knew, but there wasn't anything they could do about it. My mommy was ready to come and rack. She was ready. She would tell me, like, tell me their names. Let me come. But in my head, I'm like, you're already going through a lot. You know how to bring your mommy. Then the new thing now becomes
mommy's girl.
She's a mommy's girl. She's bringing her parents. So I think there was no escape. There was no outlet until things became very bad. And then I had to see a therapist. I cut myself. I cut my wrist. I can't remember what class. Yes, it was SS1. I started therapy in SS1. I was just tired. I saw myself as ugly. I saw myself as different. I felt like nobody wanted me. I felt like even if I became a superstar tomorrow, I am fat. So I went into a very dark place, and I just remember one day just being very angry, like, and I started thinking, and up till now, I mean, it's a gradual journey, yeah. But back then, I would fantasize, like, not to sound morbid, like death. I would think of how I want my memorial to be, because I started thinking that, you know what, okay, if I'm not alive, nobody's making fun of me. My friends don't have to worry. The 2 friends that I had back then, they didn't have to worry about me. They didn't have to hide me to eat. At home, they didn't have to, like, be... I just felt like my presence was a problem. So I remember that day. I can't remember when me and my mom went to the day I cut myself. I went out with her. And that day I was already in a sour mood because I think something had happened in school the day before. Mm-hmm. And she noticed that my mood was off. Like, because me and my mom are very close. Yeah. So when we're together, we're either gisting in Yoruba or just catching cruise and all of that. So she noticed that she was talking to this child. Oh, you Korean. This child is not laughing. She's not. No, she was already asking me, are you okay? I just said, I'm fine. Just got home. I don't know. I can't even describe the state of mind. I just knew that I was tired. I took a bottle of perfume. Mm-hmm. I smashed it on the floor. Mm-hmm. I took the broken glass.
I started cutting yourself.
And then I started cutting myself. And then I cut it to a point where I was afraid. Because the blood was
too much.
Was gushing. I now called my mom. My mom was downstairs. I was in my room upstairs when I did this.
What was the intention of you cutting yourself? You wanted to hurt yourself or to just end it?
I just wanted to hurt myself. Because I felt like maybe, aside not wanting to be here, not wanting to be alive, I just felt like there is something about me that is a problem. I hate myself. So I wanted to harm myself. And then I did it. And when I saw the blood and everything, and I just felt like, oh my God. It was as if I snapped out of it. And that wasn't the first time that I thought of doing something like that. There was one day
that you actually did it.
Yes. There was one day in school where I almost did it. Because if anybody that went to ISL knew that they always have one thing that they are building or the other. So there's glass everywhere. There's, So there was a particular day where I was very down in school. And I saw glass on the floor. And I stood there and I was about to do it. But then somebody came. So I dropped it. I never did it the first time. But that day I told I did it. And I just remember my mom coming into the room. She was like, Jesus Christ.
Like, how did you get this thought?
Failed. Oh. What is going on? You know the way Nigerian moms
can be.
She was like, what is this? What is going on? Pelumi, why would you do this? Like, talk to me. Explain. And thankfully, the type of parents that I have is that their immediate reaction to anything is always your well-being, outside of anything that is going on. I just remember her sitting on the floor with me that day with blood on my hand. And she was like, who do I call? Like, she doesn't... My dad travels a lot. So my dad wasn't at home at the time. My siblings were... The 2 of them went to university at the same time. So I was alone with my mom
most of the
for
time.
Like a long time. So she was like, who do I call? Tani Kingpe, in Yoruba. She was like crying and everything. And that was when I knew the effect of what
you had done.
And she was like, okay. After that situation, she cleaned me up. She sat me down and spoke to me. And I just told her, I don't know why I did what I did. I kind of knew, but I couldn't tell her because of that high reaction. And she was like, okay. She spoke to my dad, I'm guessing, and then they were like, oh, they know this therapist. And the whole thing just felt weird to me because in my own head, I was still like, why am I the one? Like, All my other classmates are going for party. You know, they're having boyfriend and girlfriend. They look like they're living their best lives. They come to school, they play, they learn. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why do I have to go and be talking to somebody every Wednesday and Thursday? Why am I bleeding? Why is my mommy on the floor crying with me? Like, I never felt normal, especially after that incident. Then I started seeing the therapist. The so-called, not so-called, God forgive me, but the therapist was also like a professor or something in Unilag. So the therapy was also in Unilag.
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with that. It was a safe space, but I wasn't comfortable with her. Especially because she knew, I think she was like a family friend or something. Because no matter how much they tell you, this is confidential. To me, I was still like, you would tell my mommy now or something. So I went to see her. And then after a while, I told my mommy that I'm okay. I don't want to go again. Because I just felt like they will give me assignments. I write down your feelings. So in class, if something happens, I'll have to do a coping mechanism that they've given me. It just felt overwhelming. And then I could see the worry in my mom's eyes. And when your parents are saying things like they failed, I just thought, you know what, to keep this woman's mind, let me just tell her that I'm okay. Plus, I'm not really comfortable with this thing. It's just making me feel somehow. I stopped going, and they thought everything was fine. But then, because I stopped going, I started having an eating disorder. So it was either I was eating a lot, or
not eating at all. What was the idea behind this eating disorder? Was it like a habit that now became a thing?
So I think it just became a thing of, when I'm sad, I find comfort in food. I eat comfort food.
To ask, like, in all of this craziness, what were the things that you ate? So it was more food that you ate?
Yeah, I would just eat, because who do you want to talk to? And you know that when it comes to mental health, it's not something that is very relatable here.
Yeah.
It's now that, because I remember growing up and thinking to myself that, God, why wasn't I in secondary school at a time when, if you mental are plus health, size,
you are like
you are everybody's
big deal.
Do you understand? Yeah. So I would just turn to food, like, oh, ice cream makes me feel happy. I would eat it, and my parents would get it from me, because anything to them is like anything to make this child happy. So I would do that. But then the cutting thing, I still did it again. Because it kind of became
like an escape for you.
Yeah. So I would do it again. And I had friends to talk to, but they also had, like I said,
own issues.
They were also being, so I can't be dumping. They tried for me, because like I said, I wouldn't walk anywhere alone. If I want to pee, my friend is coming to pee with me. I didn't go for assembly, because even at assembly, they'll be touching you, like they'll be making fun of you. There was no point being in their midst. So any opportunity to hide, I took it. And then it wasn't just school, at church too.
Wow.
Adults will make fun of you. Your peers will make fun of you. I had family members that would also pick on me. Do you understand? So it was like everywhere. There's somebody, there are people pointing out that you are not beautiful. You are fat. You are not the normal size of an 11-year-old, of a 12-year-old
human being.
No matter what talents I had at the time, it didn't matter. I was just
seen as a very fat girl.
So there was no outlet.
So looking back now, what comments would you say really caught you deep and you can't even forget even at this time?
That somebody said to me.
Yes.
That's hard to pick out one. I don't think there's one that I can remember that well, because it was either a thing of just like looking at you with disgust. It wasn't so much of a, oh, if you fall down, the ground will break. Oh, don't sit down there. That chair is going to break. Don't sit down beside me. You're taking up all this space. Do you understand?
Yeah.
If they even be, as an extension of that, they will come up with insults like you're smelling, even if you're not smelling, just because you're fat. You are disgusting to them.
You're disgusting to them.
So it was just that feeling, that sense of disgust that they would use to look at me. And like I said, it was boys. And when you're a young girl, which is why I'm very, when people see me like, oh, supporting women or talking about how passionate I am about women, it's not just because I'm being biased, because it's also my gender. It's because I know boys were terrible to me.
You.
they were terrible to me, which is funny because, I mean, life is funny. You grow up, you glow up, and then they come and toast you.
Do you understand?
But that one is normal. But there was no one remark. It was one thing after one thing. I didn't have a self-esteem. I didn't know what that was. What was confidence? What was believing in yourself? There was nothing like that. I couldn't just understand. I felt like I was being attacked. I felt like I wasn't meant to be alive. I felt like I wasn't deserving of anything good because I was just always, it was like there's everybody else and then there's you. I felt like the order. I couldn't, it affected, like I said, I didn't have a self-esteem. I couldn't speak, like, raise up your hand to answer a question. No. Add to a conversation.
No. Because you don't want the attention to be, the attention that is already on you. You don't want it to be on you. I was
hiding. My mission was, when I enter this room, I don't want anybody to know that I am
You are there.
Is it class? Let's learn what we want to learn and go.
And leave.
I'm not sitting in front. I have to sit down at the back or at the corner where I can be used as an example or where people are not constantly, like, seeing me. I remember, and some of the students, I mean, some of them would stand up for you when they feel, and on 2 occasions that happened. I remember sitting down in class one day during break time. I know during break, everybody's playing and everything. And then this group of boys from the corner that they were sitting in, they just called my name. And they now walked up to me. They're not like, you see Pelumi like this. They're about to start going at me. Then the boy that was sitting beside me just said, free am, no try am. Just leave her alone for today. Leave her alone.
Let her be.
It's not as if me and that boy were friends. But I think you could just see. There were some of them that went too much. See me, which is why some of them today were not guys. But when they send me messages about something that I do or anything, it's because they are genuinely...
They know where you came from.
Exactly. Like, and there was another thing with a senior boy where he saw a group of boys like bullying me. And that's the thing about kids. They will corner you.
Yeah.
So, and you are going on your own, they will call you. Like, I would be walking and you hear Jesus Christ. How are you doing it? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? So even if you don't have everybody's attention, they call the attention
to you.
Towards you. I was tired.
But did you at some point stand up for yourself or something? Like, was there any point in time where you like talked back? But now that you know that, you think that things would have changed if you spoke back?
I think a little bit. But I didn't know I could. My response to everything was tears. I feel like this is the first time I'm 24. Anytime I'm asked about this topic, I cry. Because it's very painful. Because the thing about bullying is the bully forgets.
But the bullied... So sorry. It's very teary though.
The bully forgets.
Okay.
So that was it.
Let's take it down. I was hearing it in your voice a bit.
I've been forming strong woman. Strong girl. But yeah, the bully forgets, but you never forget, because till today, I still feel like how my mates are going after their dreams. I still struggle.
Even till now?
Even still. I mean, I'm much better because I have lost weight.
Yes. You have like the desired...
I'm desired by society.
Yeah.
The conventional standards, I meet it. I'm skinny. And even the road to getting here wasn't healthy.
Easy. Wasn't healthy. Let's talk about that.
It wasn't healthy because my parents put me on multiple diets, not because they were trying to force me to lose weight, because they wanted
you to feel better.
Forever Living, I did. Cambridge weight plan, I did. Like any popular weight loss thing that you can do. And as a child, imagine pumping your body with like different drugs or like starving and everything. I went on different diets. Like, it was hard. I remember one memory of me like stealing food from the freezer one day because
you were hungry.
I was starving. I felt guilty for eating.
Wow.
And when I saw that diets weren't working as fast, I decided to do things that I thought were going to help. So when I got to university, my first year was difficult. Because imagine battling with self-esteem issues for the whole of your secondary school. And then I didn't go to school. I didn't go to uni here. Yeah. So I didn't even have my friends or anything. Then I would get there. And I just felt like all the other like international students, the girls, they were skinny, they were fine, you know, they would be talked about beside me. And I felt like I have to do something. All these diets that I did. So I started a diet here before I went to uni that worked. I was weighing 106.9 kg when I started that diet.
Weight?
Yeah. And then I went down, maybe like a little bit. I lost like 10 kg or something.
Yeah.
And then I went to uni. And then when I saw that, you know what, they've put me on every possible diet. It's not moving fast. I decided to take matters into my own hands. So my mom doesn't know this. I stopped eating for a while. I would go to class, empty stomach, come back, I won't eat. I'll just be drinking water and be buying like all these their green juices. And then I didn't eat like solid food.
Like how long was this for?
And then one day, maybe for like a month. Wow. And then one day, I couldn't physically get up.
Because you're already tired. Your body doesn't have what it needs.
I felt like I just felt like my life was, I felt like I was dying slowly physically. Then I said, okay, I need to eat. I'm the only one here. Like, I can't go home. I'm here. I started eating. But then when I would eat, I would force myself to vomit the food.
So that it doesn't digest in your body.
Stay. So I did that again for months until my stomach started hurting. And I was like, okay, this is a problem. This isn't good. And at that point, when I was doing it, I didn't see anything wrong with it. Because I remember when I told my best friend, if you remember the best friend I said I met in JSS1.
Yeah.
So we were FaceTiming, we were talking, and he was like, are you okay? Like, you look sick. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. That's just a little bit. And while, like I said, we're best friends because aside being bullied on as well, we had other things in common. And he struggled with mental health issues as well. So I could open up to him. It was a safe space. And I told him I would eat and vomit, and he started crying. And I was like, why are you crying? And I was like, do you hear
what you're saying?
And I was like, oh, okay. And at that point, mind you, I'd already started looking like a stick because I had starved myself. I had, I think it's called bulimia. So I would, eat and then go and throw up. So I looked ill physically. And then I started to eat back. And then the friends I had there, like, tell me, like, Pelumi, you are fine. Like, you don't need to do all this. So they would ginger me. Do you get? So I started getting back to normalcy. And then, okay, now start getting like a proper diet. So I go eat. So that was when I became very skinny. And then I came home and then I was not recognizable. Like, my parents came to pick me from the airport, my mom, and she was looking for a child and she was like,
where is Pelumi?
Because I went to school still heavy, mind you.
And at this time, what were you weighing at this time when you came back?
I was weighing 69 kg.
From 106?
From 106.9. So I came back and, my mom sat me down and she was like, are you okay? Because she knows me. She was like, I never told her how I lost the weight. I never told her the beginning stages of the weight loss. I just told everybody that asked me, I'm just like, oh, I can show you my plan. She was like, and this is what I ate and everything. They were like, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Some people asked me if I did surgery, because if you saw my old pictures, you would understand what I'm saying. So I came back and then I noticed that I'm skinny. I'm being treated differently. Men are looking at me. People are, being nicer to me. They're not looking at me with disgust. If anything, they want me to be around them. They want to take me places. Like, I'm not trying to shade my siblings or anything, but do you understand what I'm saying too? Let's go somewhere.
Yeah.
But then I noticed that my life did a 360 because I had lost weight. But the thing is, I lost weight, but mentally, I was still there.
Down.
So I will still walk into a room. I can look like Beyonce, but in my own head, I'm like, okay, I need to stand up from here to go there. I don't want to walk alone.
You don't want the attention to
I
be
don't
on
want
you.
attention. At that point, to self-esteem, confidence, zero. So that was it.
You're actually doing so well for yourself, and I actually admire you. And if you don't tell the story, there's no way that you would know about it. Because the first time that you showed me your picture, I'm like, no, this is not you.
Yeah.
And now saying this as the ways in which you lost weight is actually more crazy because of the things that you had to go through. So now my question is, how did you eventually get here? We're not talking about physically, but in your, like, up there. Like, what did you do? Because I'm saying that I'm seeing the body that I want, but I'm not happy. Like, I've been wanting this. I've done all that I can to get it, and I've gotten it, but I'm not happy. Was that how you were feeling?
Yeah, I still feel like that. Because like I said, I'm still in therapy. I still have a therapist that I see. But I just found coping mechanisms. And because up till now, I still have food guilt. It's something that if you ask people that lost weight, most of them have, where you eat, immediately you feel guilty, which is what in the past would lead to me forcing myself to throw up. But I know that that's not good anymore. You know, I've gone to therapy. I've heard people say this is dangerous. People like develop
health issues from
this.
there.
So I just have to. You just keep living until it continues to get better and better. I can't say that it's not magic. It still comes up in different situations in my life as insecurities, because relations, like I said, boys bullied me more than girls. So every single relationship or situationship that I've been in, seeking their validation has always been the core
number one thing that you look out. Yeah, you
I'm
need to be safe with this person.
You like me, you think I'm fine. So anything that you do is okay, even if
are you serious?
Yeah. So because even when people treated me like I was in very toxic situations that I should have gotten out of, but in my head I was just like, nobody was asking me to prom in secondary school. Nobody was toasting. Nobody was coming to my class to say, my friend is outside. Do you understand what I'm saying? He wants to talk to you. So to me, it was just like, this fine boy likes me. If you like, do whatever you want to do.
Things.
I'm going to do whatever I can do to stay with you.
Can you give an example?
There was this situation I was in, a situationship I was in for like almost 2 years in uni, and the guy was like toxic. Everybody knew. My friends, they did not like him. Like what are you doing here?
This guy.
But one day I'm just like, oh, he's very fine. You know, he could have any girl.
But he chose me.
I've even said it to the boy before. That, sometimes I'm still that's how insecure.
I'm so blessed to have you in my
life.
Not
even blessed. I'm just like, the fact that you are with me. Like, do you understand? And do you know how insecure you have to be telling somebody that, the person that. And the boy recognized it, so obviously he took advantage.
It was your weak point.
So it's still something that, so getting here, and I don't even know what here is. I feel like, okay, here is, I know that I can't be cutting myself. I know that I don't have to, if I eat, if I want to burn the calories, I can take a walk, I can do exercise, I can cut down on my portions. Do you get? I have a therapist that I'm seeing, but in terms of confidence in going after, because sometimes is one of my most painful things in my life. I talk about to my therapist rather about this, or some of my close friends. I'm like, there's so many things that I could have done, that's not to sound funny, that I would have, should I say, blown, or just like I had, and I'm not trying to wash myself or anything, but I've always been a very creative person since I was a kid.
A child.
I wanted to do fashion design. That was what I wanted to study before, like, coming into this media world or whatever. Like, I had a lot of potential, but I had no confidence
in yourself.
So whatever I needed to do to develop myself, or to, if there was any opportunity, I didn't. In my head, I was like, I can't.
Like, no, you can't do this.
I can't do it. So there are sometimes when I genuinely have regrets, but I just tell myself that, you know what, that trauma, that pain was for a reason. So you just have to keep going and keep trying to overcome it. It shows up every single day. I overthink every single conversation that I have. I can come to work, I can be around people making jokes. Most of the times when I come to work making jokes or laughing or whatever, I'm going back home to cry myself to sleep.
Why?
Because there are days when you're just not happy, when you just remember that
This is what you
that feeling of you are not good enough. That's why I said the bully forgets, but the bullied you never forget.
The bullied doesn't.
You just have to choose to keep living your life. And thankfully, I have people around me that, because they know what I've been through, they are willing to like help. Whether it's like I said, this whole cracking. Because if you know me, I'm a shy person, but when I go to places and I get comfortable, I try to like show my personality. But it's not like I necessarily want to. It's a coping mechanism. If I don't do that, 80% of the time I would be questioning my value in that space. In that situation,
yeah.
I would be it still happens to me where I'll go somewhere and I see other girls and I'm like, my own this thing is not like that. Oh, my face is not. I still don't see myself as beautiful on some days. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, Jesus, what is this? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I still don't see myself as, it's still something that I have to work.
It's still a work in progress.
Like, on. Because there are even sometimes where I'm in a good situation and I sabotage it because I feel like I don't deserve it.
This is too good to be.
This is
your
too
situation.
Good to be my situation. So it's a process that keeps going and going. And there are some people that when they hear that, oh, you were verbally bullied, you're like, at least they didn't beat you. Beating then is they beat you. You probably became, not to sound funny, but you probably learned how to stand up for yourself in that situation. Do you get? Because they're beating you, last you beat them back to move on. But the thing about verbal bullying, and it's now that is now like apparent, because you hear like, when I was in A-levels, I heard of people that committed suicide based on what was said to them. And I remember when I heard those things, I'll be like, maybe me too, I should. Those were part of the things that up to now, there are days when I sit down, I can be with you somewhere and I'm doing something. You think maybe I'm working or I'm doing something. I tell you that I am planning my memorial.
It's a lie.
So what I used to pull myself back is I think of the reactions of the people
Your
around
parents.
me when they hear that I've died. So I think of what my mom would do. I think of my sister. I think of my brothers. I think of my dad. I'm like, it will affect his health. I think of my brother that I'm closest to. I'm like, it's going to break him. I think of whatever. I've thought of what you would think of. I've thought of what Harrison.
Wait,
KD,
you've thought of this in recent times?
Last week.
No.
So, and I openly say these things. I'm openly comfortable about talking about my mental health because I've got it to a point where if I don't talk about it, I will go mad.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I've thought of everybody's reaction. That's what always pulls me back because I'm like, it will be a sad day in the office. Life will go on. I'm not like, do you understand? I don't want to say I'm not special or anything, but life will go on. But I always think about it that they will come to work and say, oh, you guys, God forbid. I'm sure my mommy, if she's watching this, I'm just God trying to take you through my thought process. But they will come in and say, oh, you guys, Pelumi passed today. And Tega would start shouting because anybody that knows Tega is my bestie. And then Alexis is a crybaby. Alexis will start crying. KD will start crying. Blessy will be in shock, just staring. Do you understand? Like, I think of everybody, like, Mr. Tubos will just be like, oh, it's a shame. Like, he would think of, like, all the interactions he had. I think of these things. I think of the picture that I want them to show or use if they are doing anything for me. Candlelights, whatever it is. Like, but I just draw myself back that, okay, you know what? All these reactions points that these people not necessarily love me, but they value me. And I can't do that to them. And I can't do that to myself. Because now I start thinking that, you know what, I have this many dreams. I want to be a media personality. Yeah. I want to be this. I want to be that. Okay, let me not waste it. And I know that I'm a Christian. And I don't know if it's true, but I know that I've heard that suicide is a sin. So that's part of what I think of. But even so, it's not. You never get really normal. You just find coping mechanisms
as it goes by.
And as it goes by. So yeah. So I still have days when I don't think like I'm that beautiful, and I compare myself a lot to the people my age.
I think that I've not said this before, but Pelumi is undoubtedly the smartest 24-year-old that I've met. I'm not even trying to say this because of your story or anything.
Yeah.
I already had this at the back of my mind before you actually said it. Sometimes I'm like, I think I was telling TA, or who was I telling that? I just love the way Pelumi reasons. Like, she's the best at this thing. Like, I just really want you to know that there are people that see you and they are really proud of what you're doing for yourself. They are age of age. I'm like, no, is it like, come on now, why are you lying? This age is just a number. But then again, I feel like there's nothing for you to hide. You're like the sexiest person. Like Pelumi rocks the croppest top ever.
And that's another thing. Do you know that one thing that I wish people knew is that the reason why I wear some of the things I wear is because I'm trying to get comfortable in my body. It's not necessarily for attention. It's just I'm at a weight where I can wear this, and I love it. I love fashion. Yeah. So I just want to. It's something that is a coping mechanism for confidence a little bit. Like if I'm wearing this and I feel
he's working
very
more crop
nice,
tops for you. Don't worry.
I'm
shopping you crop tops.
If I do more crop top now, that will fire me. But it's a process.
It is, and truly, I'm not going to say, oh, I've been there, because I've not been there. But the only time that somebody said something to me, like it was the only time, but I can never forget it. I think my own case, I was judging myself by myself because it felt strange to me. Like, how would I be the only person in this whole school that has the biggest boobs ever? Then I would go to school, I'll wrap myself in undergarments before I even wear my. So people didn't see the boobs. It was the only day I didn't go to school rapping that somebody made the comment. But you had this for like 6 years of your from junior secondary to senior secondary. Went to. Thank you for sharing, Pelumi. This is like very deep. She brought us into her space, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to motivate you right now, but I feel like when a problem is solved, you feel light some kind of way, right? That you're sharing. And one step at a time. I got you, baby.
Thank you. I made you cry.
Yes, you did.
Oh my God, you made me cry too. I told myself I wasn't going to cry.
Oh my God. Like my makeup almost was like, hold it. It's not you that was bullied, baby. Hold it. I'm such a cry baby. But let me take.
All right. Jar of questions.
Oh my God. Let me just put this here.
Wow.
What's that?
What are you most proud of about yourself?
God, I do thank you for this question. This is the best question.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't mean to sound funny.
Okay.
That I'm alive.
That's a starting point.
I think that's what I'm the most proud of.
That's a starting point.
I still remember the dates of the days when I either wanted to cut myself to death or drink spirit or something, and I'm here. And that's a testament of God. That's a testament of the people that He has placed in my life. And no matter what comes my way, I'm still willing to fight, because there's a reason why God placed me here.
Kept you here, and you're still here.
So in whatever body size or whatever, my life is just being alive. Honestly, being alive is what I'm proud of.
Yeah, because for somebody who has attempted thought of suicide, it's a big deal that you're alive.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. All right, guys. First time I'm crying on Chats and Banter, courtesy of Pelumi. I had so much emotions running here and there.
Yeah.
Yes. Do not forget to share this content where you say it. Drop a comment on how this made you feel, and always come back for more. My name is Alex Babia. This is Chats and Banter Show.
Bye.
Thank you, Pelumi. We'll see you on the next one.